Going on, everyone? Gaston with FK Irons, and this is the very first live broadcast for 2018. Basically the first machine live broadcast, because I've done another one, but it was more or less of introduction to 2018, nothing major. So today we're going to be talking about two machines. Some of you may have heard so many things about this machine that I have right here, which is the Spektra Xion. This is the machine that we launched about in November. And it's been already over 2.5 months that this machine has been out. A lot of you guys know all the features, but a lot of people still having a lot of questions about this machine. There are a lot of people that are wondering if this is the right machine for them. So we're going to be talking about that. Now, we are also going to be talking about our new release. This machine was released probably a little bit less than a month ago. This is a machine that we only have it available on our sister company, Microview. I'll be talking a little bit about Microview, giving you guys an introduction, but this machine was designed specifically for micropigmentation. So my wife, as some of you know, is a cosmetic tattooer, and she's been helping me a lot to develop this product. Also, I've been working with a lot of folks in the micropigmentation industry. I'm gonna drop some names later on. So first of all, what I wanna do is we're gonna dive in up and close, and I'm gonna show you guys the differences, in packages. So we're gonna go and address that right away. If you guys have some questions, I am going to be addressing the questions in a little bit. I'm gonna take a pause and talk a little bit about that. And let's actually come close right here. Let's switch cameras over here. And there you go. We're gonna zoom out a little bit. There you go. So you guys can get the full picture right here. So these are the two machines. Now, the box illustrates perfectly what you're gonna find inside the machine. At a glance, you can see that one of the machines is a little bit thicker than the other one, where the other one tapers down, where this one tapers up. The one that I have right here is the Xion for tattooing. The one that I have right here is the Xion for micropigmentation. Now, if we flip the box, we're gonna realize that also they're a little bit different. And this one is called the Xion S, S for slim. And again, I know you guys have a lot of questions, so I am going to be addressing all the technical stuff. So I wanna show you first of all the package. Also, you guys are gonna realize that this one is branded under our sister company, Microview. And Microview has debuted with this machine. This is the very first product that we are introducing under the Microview umbrella, but we're also working on so many other products that are related to tattooing, but the cosmetic side of tattooing. And now I want to stop and tell you a little bit about history, how FK Iron got involved with this project and how the sister company was formed. So we've been working with cosmetic tattooers, with micropigmentation artists, people that do areola reconstructions, eyebrow, lips, and all that stuff for as long as the company exists. So I remember back in 2007 selling some of my steel frames, my steel machines to cosmetic artists that actually were looking for a machine with punch for that type of work. So I've been serving those artists for over 10 years now, and it was never something like it is right now. But as the years went by and we started perfecting the tools, more and more artists, felt inclined to the brand and felt inclined to try the product. So we got to a point, that was probably like 2.5 years ago, where we started getting an overwhelming amount of artists buying this product. And the reason how we found out that they were micropigmentation artists or cosmetic tattooers is because we verify every single order. So back then we were used to verifying someone that worked at a shop, and all of a sudden we started seeing people that come from esthetician places or even surgeons buying this equipment. So we started paying a closer attention to that, and we decided to actually build a product that was dedicated to them. So I got married, and that actually took things even further, because my wife, this is what she does for a living, and she kept on telling me, you have to do a machine for me, you have to design a better machine. And I'm like, you know what, I think this is the right time, all the stars are aligning, and I decided to move forward, and we created a sister company, Microview, and this product is the very first product. My wife was one of the artists that helped me to basically debug the product, because I don't do that type of tattooing. And yes, I've done eyebrows back in the days, but just shaded eyebrows and some lips and some nipple reconstructions when I used to have the shops, but nothing at the level that's being done right now with the accuracy that these artists are rendering photorealistic eyebrows and brows and even areolas that look real. So I decided to pull the plug. I like to, I like to be ahead of the curve, and I don't feel that because we're a company that was born in tattooing, we are not capable of doing this. In fact, I felt that we are so capable of delivering a great product after seeing what's out there. So basically, we pulled the trigger, and here we have this product. Now, I know that a lot of you guys are already asking me a bunch of questions. Let me actually switch really quick right here. Let me see. Here we go. So I see that we have Raul Hatsan on the chat. How you doing? We have Matsar Lial. People are asking for new colors. We're not going to be doing new colors anytime soon, but probably next year. Then Juan Luis, we have German Ruiz. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. And remember, I'll be doing a lot of these videos more and more often. Now, before I move any further with this review or overview, this Wednesday I am doing a dedicated segment under Microview Facebook. I'm sorry, Microview YouTube. It is you're gonna have to search for Microview, micro and view, micro as in micro and view as in beauty all together. Search for it and you're gonna find the channel right there. Subscribe to get the notifications. So myself and my friend Terry Lively, which she has been using this machine for a long time. I've been seeing the result of her work. She's an amazing artist. She does also cosmetic tattooing. She also does amazing areola restoration work. And me and her and I, we're going to be together live sharing remotely, of course, but we both are going to be live doing an overview of this machine. She's going to be asking me a bunch of questions that relate to her industry, and I'm going to do my best to address them and pretty much debunk all the myths and the guessing about this machine, because a lot of people have a lot of questions. So that's going to happen this Wednesday. Wednesday, what is today? Today is the 8th. 9th and 10th, Wednesday the 10th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Microview Facebook. So it's facebook.com. We don't have the custom URL right now, so you're going to have to search for Microview. So that's going to happen on Wednesday. Terry Lively and myself talking about this machine. Okay, enough is enough. Now, guys, make sure to subscribe to this channel because we are going to be doing a lot of them in 2018. And just like today, I basically felt like doing a video and no advertising, no promotion. I just went live and that's it. Posted a couple of videos on Instagram. That was it. So if you don't want to miss any of these lives and share the time with us, make sure to subscribe to the channel right here somewhere in there, I think. All right, so enough of the talk, and let's actually go back to the FaceTime right here with the machine. So like I mentioned before, these are the machines right here. Let me zoom out even further so we can get them all into frame. And let's open both machines. Actually, where's this machine? Oh, I think it's in this box. Never mind, it was in the other box. Right here. So the first thing that you're gonna find on both machines is when you open the machine, you're gonna have the two authentication card. This is the one that belongs to the Spektra Xion. This is also your warranty card right here. So all here, you're gonna be, you get a couple of instructions of what's proper to do and what not to do in the machine. And also on the other side of the machine, you're gonna get, of course, the serial number of your motor. You're gonna get also, I'm covering this because you're not supposed to see this, and you're gonna get some instructions how to change the stroke and how to adjust the give. The two main features of this machine. So let's put this machine right here. Now we have right here exactly the same thing. We have the instructions, and on the other side you have the same literature. It shows you how to change the give, and it shows you how to change the stroke on the machine. Now let's actually remove both machines out of the box, and we're gonna put the boxes on the side for a little bit, and let's do that as well. So let's show you right now both machines, okay? Now you see this thing right here? Okay, this is happening because this machine has a custom motor. This motor is really strong. This is one of the features that makes this machine different than any micropigmentation product out there, is that it has a beefy motor. Now, some of you may say, but why a thicker machine or why a beefier motor? Okay, the bigger the magnet, the more power the machine has. So in this machine, we basically customize the motor, okay? So both machines use exactly the same motor, so you get the same amount of power. Now, the main difference that you're gonna find in one version versus the other, for example, this one and this one, is that this machine comes with a 2.5 stroke installed in the machine, and this one comes with a 3.2. Now, the alternative stroke that you're gonna find inside the box right there is actually a 1.8 millimeter stroke, where in the one for tattooing it's at 3.7. So things are a little bit backwards when it comes to these machines right here. So here we have the biggest stroke in the machine and the shortest stroke in the box. On the one for tattooing, we have the medium stroke in the machine and the larger stroke in the box. I'm gonna explain why that happens. So let's actually keep going over the cosmetic designs of the machine. Now, the Spektra Xion for tattooing tapers up, and it's about 30 millimeters right here and about 25 millimeters right here. So that tapering up allows tattoo artists to get that chunky grip that most of us love from a tattoo machine. It also allows us to wrap the grip with the Sensi wrap or something similar and get that comfortable, secure gripping for our tattooing. It also shifts the weight of the machine a little bit better towards the front. Now, this one right here is completely the opposite. Like I said, everything is the opposite on these two machines. This one actually tapers down, and the reason why this machine tapers down is because most cosmetic artists are used to working with skinny device, and those devices are skinny because the needles are also smaller. Most of the cosmetic needles are actually an iteration of these cartridges right here. In fact, that's where this little element, this little product came from the cosmetic industry. So I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but these cartridges were manufactured years ago, even before tattooing, probably 20 years before, even more. They made the debut in the tattooing industry. So this is actually an adaptation of that cosmetic cartridge for tattooing. So most cosmetic machines, they are a little bit skinnier than tattooing machine, and also they use a weaker motor. Why? Because none of them, they push anything bigger than a 2 millimeter stroke. So with that said, we have the Spektra Xion S right here. So we have a 2.5 in the motor installed with the machine, 1.8 millimeter in the box. Now, I am going to stop and talk a little bit more about this machine. And I know this is my style, guys. I go back and forth, no scripting here. So do my best to describe why those options in stroke. Well, first of all, none of the tattoo machines for micropigmentation actually have the option of changing the stroke. So you're basically married to what the machine brings. And in most cases, about 1.5, 1.8 millimeter, some of them like 2 millimeters. So super, super short stroke, right? And they are super short because the motor that they have is also weak. So if you have a longer stroke, you would need a much more powerful motor to actually deliver that displacement. And if you don't put a bigger motor and you use a small motor with a bigger displacement, the motor is gonna heat up. Plain and simple. Plus, the mechanism that propels most cosmetic machine is what is called the swashplate mechanism, which it tends to fail a lot. And some of you guys may know that already in the micropigmentation industry. So this machine offers the same unique mechanism as the Spektra Xion for tattooing. So we're not using swash mechanisms, therefore we're not applying the force inwards to the motor. And without getting too technical, this is better than actually putting all the load in the shaft of the motor. So that was one of the goals when designing both of these machines, to design a mechanism that is not gonna put a lot of constraint to the motor. Now, motor failures can occur, but not because of something pushing the motor inward. So we're going to talk about that, how to protect the motor as well, further down in this video. So to change the stroke in this machine is very, very simple. We are going to remove the stroke, and I have my hands greased up because I put a little bit of cream. Just remove this. And if you don't believe me, I actually put grease on my hands because I had them all scuffed up from work, so they're a little bit slippery. Anyway, I got the stroke right here, and actually I was messing with it. So the stroke of the machine, is right here. So what you're gonna do to remove the stroke is very simple. In this box, you're gonna find the tiny Allen key, and you're gonna use that Allen key to, I should actually be doing this with this camera. Just like the Spektra Xion, the regular Xion, you loosen the screw, right? Let me just get the other camera here. And loosen the screw just a little bit, and as you loosen the screw, you're gonna realize that this piece comes off. Now, this piece right here has a number. Let me see, let's wait for the camera to focus. And right there it says 2.5. Can you read that? 2.5. Now, we're gonna replace it by this one. That is just right here. It's the 1.8. Can you see right there? 1.8. There you go. 1.8. It's engraved right there at the top of the cam. So the 1.8 is what we call more of a shading stroke. It's very, very short and very, very fast. And what would you use that stroke? Well, you would use that stroke basically for all the shading work, especially in micropigmentation. A lot of artists use the single needle and the buck pin 3 round for shading. Something that in tattooing we probably would never use for shading. We would never use a single or a type 3 for shading. I mean, of course, some artists may use it for a certain situation, but the majority of the artists will use magnums for shading. So in the cosmetic and micropigmentation industry, a lot of the artists use the single needle for shading. So the 1.8 would be an ideal stroke for that type of work, the tiny needle grouping, the very fast machine. And that's gonna allow the artist to go really fast with the hand while poking very, very soft on the skin, and this is the reason why we have designed this stroke. Now, the 2.5, which is the one that comes in the machine, it's basically like an overall stroke. So that means that if you get this machine, you don't have to do anything, that you are going to be able to do most of your work with that stroke. Now, for those artists that are a little bit more advanced and understand stroke or want to start understanding stroke, well, you can actually set up your motor with a different stroke. Another thing that you could do is you can actually buy a motor and have that motor ready with a stroke, and also swap the motors in between procedures, or maybe while you're doing the same procedure, swapping motors to actually get you the benefit of both. You may want to outline with a 2.5 a lip, or maybe doing some hair strokes with a 2.5, and then you may want to do the ombre effect, or shading. Adding shading to some part of the body or nipple and stuff like that, and that way you can have two motors and use the two strokes in one tattoo. But again, that is going to be for more of the advanced users. Now, without giving too much technical information about how to, because that's not the purpose of this video, I want to tell you that if you guys have any questions about this machine or something that you may not understand, you can also send us an email at info@microreview.com, and we'll be more than glad to answer all the questions. You can also drop all the comments right here in the comment box here below. Let me just minimize this thing so I can see the chat. It's going out of control right now. Yeah, Victoria's Secret cream that I stole from my wife, and she's actually there. Sorry, baby. So Amy Connor from the Microreview Pro team is here. You can also go check her work. Terry Lively. Terry Lively is also here. Terry, how you doing? We're going to be live, like I mentioned before, on Wednesday. So now, let's talk about the grip of this machine. And like I mentioned before, we have tapered down grip. This grip is going to be very comfortable for those artists with tiny hands, or those artists that like to get very, very close to the cartridge. So a lot of tattooers ask me if this grip is going to be available for tattooing. So far, we don't have any plans to make this grip available. It may happen down the line, but I myself really, really like it for tattooing as well. So I think that probably we're going to give it a go. I don't know. Just wanted to say that. So this grip is very easy to maintain. You can actually wrap a little bit with a Sensi wrap right here. That's what my wife does a lot. Just puts a little bit of Sensi wrap right here, and before that she puts a clip core bag with a core and everything to protect the machine. want to mention another thing. We're also going to be doing videos of how to prepare this machine, how to barrier protect this machine, the best practice for micropigmentation and tattooing as well. So moving forward, I am going to be talking about the give adjustment. So we're going to go back down to the overhead camera right here. And now I am going to zoom in a little bit more. There you go. So this is the give dial right here. Now the give dial has 2 letters. One is an S and one is an H. The S stands for soft and the H stands for hard. So if you want to stiffen or soften the head of the machine, you simply turn it towards either letter, and you never want to top off. You're always going to back off 1 click and ensure that you have that little slack. Now if you want to stiffen the stroke, you actually can turn until you feel that it doesn't go anymore, and always back off 1 click. You never want to leave it to the max because that could create an interference with the pushing element right there, that thing that you see right there. So, and you always are going to have this little slack right there. So with this thing, what you are going to be using it, and this is something that is for the first time that a device has this mechanism. In the micropigmentation industry, we have give adjustment in the tattoo industry for the longest, and a lot of artists relied on this feature because this is going to allow you to control how hard the needle hits the skin. So, for example, in tattooing, if we want to do a gradient from harsh to soft, some of the artists may opt for softening the grip and maybe putting a little bit of pressure and lift the hand to create that gradient. So now you're going to be able to do the same thing very easily with this machine by controlling the give of this machine or controlling how hard the needle hits the skin. Now, some of you may say, okay, what do you mean about how hard the needle hits the skin? So now, just to give you an idea, there's a driving element that pushes the needle straight down. The give adjustment, what it allows us to do is actually it allows that pushing element to back off a little bit. So as soon as the needle strikes the skin, instead of going full stroke into the skin, by dialing this give, the needle will bounce back. And that way you can control the amount of displacement versus the amount of backing off that you get from the give adjustment. So if you want to do lining, for example, where you don't want any or very minimal give, so you want that needle to go exactly all the way down, all full stroke, you're going to stiffen the stroke. So that way, you're going to turn it towards the hardest setting. Now, if you want to do some shading, let's say, I see my wife doing this all the time. She does the eyebrows and she may do the lining with a single line. Yeah, crazy. Single line is 0.25 millimeter single liners cartridge. I think this is the one that I have right here. If you guys can see, it's very, very tiny. See? You can even see the needle, barely see the needle. Yeah, it's almost like a hair, but you can actually soften it, and that way you can go and give multiple passes to an area to do that shading. Also, you may want to do a hair stroke with a single needle or a 3-tie buck pin or 0.25 millimeter, and then go back with a magnum and wipe the area to get that ombre shaded gradient effect to the work. You can do exactly the same thing for the lips, scars or nipple restoration. If you want to create the softer edges around the areola, you're going to be able to take advantage of this. There is an artist that we sponsor as well. She's very talented. Her name is Stacy Ray. I think I'm pronouncing her last name right or wrong. Check out the work of Stacy. I am going to Terry's live right now, so maybe Terry or some of the girls can help me out with her Instagram and Facebook. She does a lot of work, and her work is super realistic. I mean, amazing. Then you're going to see a lot of artists doing exactly the same thing for lips, not only just doing the full blast red, but adding the different shades of red and darker reds on the lips. So you may have, the areas that protrude the most with highlight, the areas that actually sink in with darker tones, and they actually create a volume, using different pigments, not just a straight red or a straight purple. So with the give adjustment, it's going to allow you to also create those blends on the skin live while you're doing it on a customer. So this is a tool that a lot of artists may use. A lot of artists may just set it all the way hard. And a lot of artists, which is what I recommend, They use it with a tiny bit of give, so that is going to ensure that you're going to get good penetration with lining, but also you're going to get a little bit of backing off and softness when you do a shading. So that's that. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is the connectivity about both machines. Both machines have, right here, both machines have RCA connections in the back, as you guys can see. Let me just switch cameras one more time. There we go. So both machines have RCA connection right here. Now, a lot of artists are used to that in the micropigmentation industry, are used to getting a machine and a power supply and the cable all together as a combo. Well, we're treating this product like we're treating products for tattooing, because we consider that micropigmentation, whatever action that entails a needle going inside the skin, is called tattooing. You can call it however fancy name you want to call it, but in reality, implanting ink into the skin through a needle is called tattooing. So we're treating this product as another tattooing product. So you're going to be able to use any RCA cable. We make a sequence of RCA cables that are available on our website, also available on Microview. And if you go to microview.com, we also have created like some sort of combos. You can get the machine on its own. You can get the machine and the cable, the machine, the cable, and the power supply. We're combing it out with critical Atom X. And also you can get the cable, the machine, the cable, the power supply, and the foot switch as well. So we have all this option on microview.com. So to all of you artists out there that are interested in this machine, make sure to add a cable to your order, because the machine only comes with the machine, the cam, and some of the tools to exchange the strokes. So now to use this machine is very straightforward, okay? A lot of micropigmentation machines, they would use a power supply that tells you eye or eyeliner or lip or shading, right? But because this is a product that was born in the tattoo industry, delivering not only like 3 settings, multiple settings and multiple possibilities of combinations of settings to achieve your work, you're only going to rely on the voltage. So I'm going to show this right now. I'm going to go FaceTime one more time. Let's zoom out right now. And again, this is totally live here. There is no post-production in this video. We're going to do a fancier one probably down the line. And before I continue, I just want to go and read the chat for a moment. Let's see, who do we have right here? So we have Brian Parson. Let's see. Oof, I got late to the party. A lot of comments. Let's read some of them. So Mark Hudson got his Direct 2 in the mail. The Direct 2 is one of our most popular machine that also has been used a lot in the micropigmentation industry. This one that I have right here. You can use any disposable grip. What else? Brian Parson loves the Xion. Thank you, Brian, for your support. Okay. A lot of comments. You guys are having a conversation of your own right here. Anyway, so I am going to dive down. And again, hold all your questions, guys, because at the end we're going to do a live Q&A. And I'm going to try to address some of the questions if you guys have some questions. So how to change the settings on this machine while only adjusting the voltage is very, very simple. So we're going to go down right here. A lot of you guys tattooers, you already know this because we do this with every single machine. We don't have a machine that says lining or shading, or even though some machines have that setting as a bank. But first thing that you're going to do is you're going to insert the cord all the way inside the machine. And right here we have the right angle RCA. We also have the option for the straight, which I think is a little bit more comfortable for this machine, but some people like this one better. So I have the machine, and the machine is actually working. Now I am going to insert a Xion single liner, which I think is one of the best cartridges for single liners that I've tried. And we're going to turn on the machine. So right now we are at 6.8 volts, and 6.8 volt, I am getting speed and I am getting torque. So this machine can be run so slow that probably when you compare it to any other machine, you're going to be surprised, because right now I'm at 3.5. And I mean, the machine barely makes any noise, but the machine is actually working right now. If I put something closer to it, you can hear, right? So I am at 3.5, and again, I have the 1.8 right here. I can go 2.8. Now, the voltage is going to control how fast the needle comes out and retracts back. So this is something that is going to take you some, some tattoos, some procedures to get used to, because you got to find what works for you. So no more lining, shading, lip, and stuff like that. I mean, we believe that the settings should be set by the artist and not by the manufacturer, okay? Because you may develop your own technique that may entail your hand moving faster or your hand moving slower. What it matters in the end is the end result. So with this machine, you have full flexibility, controlling the full range. These power supplies go from 1 volt to 17.9 volts, most of them, okay? Now, I never recommend working past the 12 volts, okay? And that's for tattooing. Now, for this, I never recommend going past, sorry about that. I never recommend going past the, probably 9 or 9.5 volts with this machine, because it's a lot of speed and a lot of stitches per second or cycles per second. Now, this machine right here is going to run, just to give you a couple of parameters, you're going to be running this machine probably around the 6 and 9 volts. And from that range, which is 3 volts, you're going to be adjusting your pace to actually do all the type of work that you have to do. Call it lining, call it a hair stroke, calling shading, calling packing color, calling ombre, style of feathering on the skin. So just tattoo and start slow. I recommend that you start with the lowest. And again, the same thing I've said many times for tattooers, start slow, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. If it doesn't work, that means that you have to crank up the volts, okay? And keep trying until you find the right pace for your hand. So the key component of mastering any equipment is to sync up your hand speed, your brain speed as well, because the brain and the hand have to talk to each other and understand to each other, but also the power supply has to deliver the right amount of power to the machine to create the right amount of revolution to give you the speed that you want for your technique. So it may seem that because now some of you guys don't have the lip, eyeliner, or shading button, you are going to be lost. In reality, you're opening the door to unleash your freedom of creation. You're not strapped to a number, to a button, okay? Use what works for you. Start always slow. Increase the voltage until you feel comfortable. And again, it's going to take you a couple of procedures to get familiar with it. Now, if you get the machine for the first time, what should I do? All right. So if you get the machine for the first time, what I recommend you do is exactly nothing. Don't change the stroke. Don't adjust the give. The machine is going to come with a give almost locked and backed off a couple of clicks, which is actually the ideal setting for most things, right? Now, once you feel familiar with the machine and you have mastered that off-the-box setting, you can start playing with different settings and maybe start altering the give mechanism. And again, I'll show you one more time. Okay, I'm going to remove the cartridge right here. You remove the grip, and the grip has a ratchet as well. And then you can start clicking a couple of clicks towards the softer shading setting if that's what you want to achieve, like a little bit softer. And you could even go full soft and see if it works for you. Again, I have to mention, softer shading is going to be best for shading. For most lining work, you want to use it like somewhere in the middle or somewhere in between the middle and the hardest setting for lining or contouring. Now, another question that I've been getting very often, people want to know what kind of needles can I use for this machine? Well, basically, now the door opens immensely because you're not strapped to just a couple of needles for cosmetic. You not only have to use certain brands, now you can use all brands that there are out there available for tattooing. And of course, these needles are much cheaper than cosmetic needles. And again, I'm not knocking off those products. Those products may be people that swear by this product and love them. That's okay. I'm just giving you alternatives right now. So one of the brands that I really like for tattooing for many reasons is Xion needles. Xion needles, number one, they kind of like were the ones making this type of needle setup popular. Also, they have experience in the cosmetic industry because they also own a sister company that have developed a lot of product for the cosmetic. But the main feature is because this needle have a membrane. And I repeat, do not use needles without membranes. Do not use needles without membrane. If you don't know what a membrane is basically a barrier that the needle has for ink not traveling up to the machine. So a lot of us tattoo artists, we may soak the needle to rinse the color in between pigments. And if you don't have a membrane, the needle can actually travel all the way up into the machine. If that happens, we warn you, you're not supposed to use those type of needles. You may clog up your machine with ink. It gets contaminated, and you're going to have to send it for service, and we're going to have to unfortunately charge you for that. And some things can go bad. So do not use needles without membrane, okay? A lot of companies are making needles with membrane. All you have to do is a Google search, and you're going to find a lot of companies and a lot of alternative for those needles. I don't endorse any needle. I'm just telling you guys what I like and what my wife uses. This is the reason why I can only speak about that one, because this is all she uses. She uses this needle, especially for this single rounds, which this one is so thin. And the 3 rounds, I think this one is a 0.4 millimeter, and then the tied 3 are 0.25, every single needle grouped, tied together. So I know that is a popular round in the cosmetic industry, but you also have amazing flat and curved magnums as well. So with this machine, you can use up to 27 magnums, okay? Just like for tattooing. Now, would you use 27 magnum for cosmetic? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. It's too wide, and I think that's more for pounding color on larger areas. But you can easily use anything from a single up to a 50 magnum, no problem with this machine. And I've seen artists using those. I've seen artists even doing lips with 50 magnums. I've seen artists using curved magnums. And you know, with this machine, you have a lot of freedom to experiment with all the needles. So one of the tips that I can give you guys for the Spektra Xion S is get a package from the needle supplier, you know, several samples, and try them all. And remember, try this machine in different settings. Don't think that the only thing you have to worry about is the machine, because you're going to have to worry about the power supply as well to tweak the setting to find out what works the most. Now, the more needles we have, the more resistance we have. So the more resistance sometimes, in most cases, is going to require a machine to run a little bit higher, so you may want to crank up the voltage a little bit more. So if you see that something is not going the way that you're expecting it, either you have to lower or raise the voltage without getting too much in detail, because these videos are not intended to teach you how to tattoo, guys. For that, you have apprenticeships, and for that, you have masters that really know what they're doing. So I recommend that. Now, I got a couple of comments from people in the industry. Do we provide training? We do not provide training, and we only sell to licensed tattoo artists or licensed permanent makeup artists or micropigmentation artists. Same rule applies as FK irons. Ourself, Microview, will sell to people that are fully licensed, and we only support an industry of fully licensed individuals. We consider that those are the only ones that are going to help both crafts to grow, tattooing and micropigmentation. We do not offer any type of training for people that are not licensed. Now, however, I am teaming up with a lot of artists. My friend Terry is one of them that she's live, and we're going to be doing seminars, yes, but for licensed artists, where we're going to be combining my knowledge in machine making, tattooing, with her expertise in the industry, my wife as well. We're going to be doing some private seminars as well for licensed tattoo artists, you know, where it's just going to be addressing her technique with the machine and, you know, the things that she knows. I'll be talking about what I know, which is the device, and give you guys technical advice of what to avoid, what to do, and things like that. So, again, let's wrap this up. We have these two machines right here, the Spektra Xion and the Spektra Xion S. There are obvious differences right here. Both machines are completely different, but at the same time, they're very similar. The mechanism that propels both machines is exactly the same. Now, however, the approach in stroke and the approach in the weight of the machine and the grip it's a little bit different. Also, you know, the boxes are different, and this machine is only available at microview.com, not through fkirons.com. Now, If you guys have some question, I'll be addressing some of the questions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to read the chat and see if I missed something. So let's see. Let's see right here. All right. There are a lot of comments. You guys are having... Okay, so someone is asking if you can use any of the motors from our other tattoo machines. No, you cannot use the motor from our other tattoo machines. These machines use a motor that was customized for this machine. You can exchange the motors from Xion S and a Xion and a Spektra Xion for tattooing because they're cross-compatible. However, we don't sell the motors yet individually. Those are going to be coming up very soon on both websites. What else? Man, a lot of questions right here. Okay, Santa here. Thank you for the darkness core. Oh, the dark lab. Yeah, no problem, man. Amy Connors. Brian teaches fundamental classes for those looking to learn. That is amazing. There are a lot of people in this industry that are giving seminars, and not only ourselves or Terry and other people, but you're gonna find a lot of seminars at conventions as well. It's a very tight circle, this industry, you know, kind of like maybe a little bit tighter than the tattoo industry. So you gotta be careful with what you ask because, again, you know, micropigmentation artists, they don't want the whole world to become one, just kind of like tattooing was at some point. So it's always, you know, be a little bit reserved about the approach and do your research, you know, look at the work of people online. There are a lot of people making great work right now, and you can find them on YouTube, Instagram. But there are a lot of hacks as well, guys, and a lot of you may agree with me. There are a lot of people taking matters into their own hands. A lot of people buying stuff from Amazon and eBay and getting those kits. That's not the right way to start, nor for tattooing, nor for micropigmentation. Always apprentice under a master, under someone that's licensed, someone that knows what they're doing. That's the best advice that I can give you guys. Okay, so Amy Connors is asking what convention we're going to be going. So the first convention that we're going to be attending is in March. Correct me if I'm wrong, Terry. That is the convention in Las Vegas. So we're going to be attending that booth. Our distributor, Terry Lively, which is also one of our distributors up in Texas, is going to be also with us. And Lulu is also going to be there. Lulu Siciliano, my wife. So we're going to be with the Microview team and the FK Iron teams right there, guys, answering all the questions. We're going to have machines also for sale. And you guys can come and ask us all the questions you have. What else? So Zach Fincher is asking, what about disposable grips for the sign? Anytime soon? Yes, we're going to bring those disposable grips for both machines very soon. I mean, very soon, maybe in several months, couple of months. They're actually being produced right now, and we are sampling them and making some corrections. Making a grip seems very simple, but there are a lot of tolerances issue that we have to address when mold injecting this type of product. So those are up and coming, and you guys should be you should see them on our website probably in 2 months or so. Robert Webb said EBIS is junk. Like I say, guys, just like in any industry, you know, do your homework, and especially to all those that want to start, you know, doing eyebrows, micropigmentation, tattooing. You know, start by asking the masters, you know, start following the work of great people. Do not buy into cheap courses. Do not buy into people that do nothing but substandard work. You know, do your homework first before you even attempt to, you know, put money down in a course. You know, I think that both things are best learned at you know, at apprenticeships and seminars and stuff like that. So do the right thing. Okay. March 17 is the one that we're gonna be at the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas. So thank you, Terry, for that. Robert West sourced by his Halo. A lot of people also use the Halo for a micropigmentation, which is this machine right here. I am going to be doing more videos for the micropigmentation side of the business on Microview's YouTube's. Actually, it's a brand new channels. We have 2 videos, and Wednesday we're going to be doing this live, which is going to be the very first online live video dedicated to that machine. So today, guys, I wanted to give you a close-up and an overview of both machines that I have right here. I wanted to debunk the myth because a lot of people say, oh, but they're the same. They're not the same. They're not going to give you exactly the same results. And we do not sell the cams like separately like some people asked us. So every machine is packed and designed to do certain things. So you have the Spektra Xion S, which is $700, which is a little bit more than this Spektra Xion, the regular Xion, just for the simple fact that it's a smaller run, more customization and smaller runs. Therefore, they're $50 more than the Spektra Xion, which is $650. So, guys, this is it for today. Unless you have another question, feel free to actually type any comments that you may have if you're watching this video off time. So feel free to answer your questions. I'm gonna swing around the comment box and reply some of your questions. So guys, follow us on Microview on Facebook. It is on Facebook. Yeah, on Facebook too. On YouTube. YouTube.com/Microview. This Wednesday's 9th, no 9. What am I saying? I'm a little bit tired today. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be with Terry Lively, Spektra Xion S 101 seminar for all of you guys that want to learn more about this machine. I'll see you guys there. Until then, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you again in another episode.